Welcome to the DKM podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We're back, all three of us, the trifecta, the Three Stooges. We are, and he's back from the grave. What do you got to say for yourself, huh?
Bro, being dead was so much fun. I didn't have to worry about anything.
You know what's
Yeah, enjoy that vacation,
Um,
asshole.
I mean, I'm not gonna boast or anything, but
You know, you could just put a vacation request, not fucking die.
well, dying's a lot more fun. So
dude?
Well,
Every time I think about like comas and stuff, that you're just like in the suspended state of just like sleep. I always wonder like. Sure, it's a rare chance that you can like wake up from comas in some situations, but like imagine being in the coma and then being able to like, you're acutely aware of like the things around you because you can listen to people talking, like you're asleep, but you can still hear it. Just imagine all the like all the tea that's being spilt because you can still hear people talking shit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So imagine if your parents are in debt and they keep saying like "fuck," just wake up, or else like that must be so sad.
yeah, it is sad.
Yeah,
Oh,
it just sounds
hella
sad.
You know what is
But
what? Go ahead, Daniel.
but in lighter news, actually, yesterday was my last day as a security guard, so that was fun.
Yeah, it's about damn time, bro.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? Better late than never. I'm looking forward to this new year
Yeah.
with a brand new career. Things are going to be great, man. I'm glad I got out of that shit, man. I should have left it in 2 years ago, but you know what? Better late than never.
You know, when I was younger, I thought the typical working the weekdays and then having weekends off was cool. And then as I got older, working 4 hour 4 day shifts with 10 hours in each shift was good. But then I started thinking more. I was like, dude, weekend shift sounds hella freaking sick. Because obviously, the negative part is, well, you're working the weekend.
Yeah,
However,
you can't hang out with your friends.
Right, but you have a lot more days off. And I'm just like, dang. Like, at my old job, you worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday for, I think, let me see, 12 hours each. And then they literally gave you the 4 hours. And I'm just like, oh, wow. And guess what? You have 4 days free. Who wouldn't want that? And then I realized I'm just a single man. No responsibilities, no kids, no nothing. So I'm just like, of course I would want it. I'm a degenerate. But,
Yeah.
like, would you guys take up that chance? Like, hey, you only work 3 days out of the week, but it's only on the weekend that you can work.
I don't know. That's a toughie. On one hand, though, the way I look at it is like I'm gonna be getting my weekends back, so I'm excited to actually go do shit again. Like I feel like I'm gonna have somewhat of a social life.
Right.
I know it's like a hermit like myself, but hey, I think it's just gonna be really fun for me to just be like, oh, something's up this weekend. Cool, I could go. You know? What I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And like I don't know if I could go back to that. I wouldn't mind working 4 days. I think working like a 4 day
10-hour shift.
4 day a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rather do
That's
that.
honestly,
which is
that's more preferred in my opinion, because then you get your Friday, you get your Saturday, and your Sunday. I mean, depending.
Well, not necessarily, but
Or
yeah.
you can have like a Monday and your Saturday, Sunday, or however they set it up. But that's what I would prefer is having 4 days, 10-hour shifts, and go home and then have my weekends or whatever the case is, and have 3 days off. That's how it was when I worked for Home People, and yeah, I mean, it was nice because like you don't have to worry about it. 10-hour shifts is like the perfect amount of time. Instead of it being like it's in between 8 and 12. 12 is too long. 8 it could be too short because then you have to work 5-hour day. You have to work 5 days instead. I don't know
about that. Like,
That's just
do you have a
it's my
chance to get
opinion.
overtime, Daniel, in your new place?
They said that there's room for overtime and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure. My first day is on Monday, so
Oh, you'll find out.
I'll keep you posted on
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to doing overtime, like I've never had an issue with it. My only problem is like, hey, how much overtime can I get? Because there'll be days that I have nothing planned
Right.
at all, and I'm just I might as well just do the same basic tasks because I've never in all the jobs I've had I never worked in retail or when it comes to customer support and stuff. So like I've never had to deal with that nonsense. as bad as people have it, you know, dealing with other people, like your previous job, Daniel. So, yeah, that's the only reason why I asked, because like I love doing overtime when nothing's planned.
I never was an overtime guy myself. The only time I've ever did anything similar like that was a coworker of mine wanted to have some days off. So what we did is that we swapped days off. So essentially I worked for like 9 days straight, and I would never do it again because to me I felt like I was going insane. Like I need that like day or two off from work so I could like,
Right.
you know, be like, man, I'm glad I don't have to be here again. But as far as like overtime goes, I don't know. Especially my with the previous job, I just was like, man, I only could last for 40 hours here. I don't want to last a single minute afterwards.
You know, speaking about that, and I kind of want to tie it into like something Kenny brought up prior to recording, but I won't go into it because it's a private matter. So in Korea, they pay you monthly. So you do all your work, and then you get this big old fat check of your month's wages. All the like, if you're salaried, obviously you get your whole thing, your month's salary there. If there's overtime, it's a little bit stickier. But would you guys go into a monthly situation of pay? I personally would have minded as long as like my first month is guaranteed. Like if I get money right away, but then every other month after that, like as long as I get my finances in check, I would not mind a monthly type of thing. Because then like, hey, I can pay all my bills at once, boom, and then everything else, like I'll know I have this much money afterwards because all of my bills are at the beginning or at the end of the month, and that's when I get paid. So, would you guys be down for that? A monthly pay cycle?
I mean, yes and no, because I was also looking at like 3-week cycles, so a tri-cycle for payments. But
Right.
personally, like if it was up to me, I preferred like 2 weeks. Honestly, I prefer weekly pay.
Okay.
My new job is going to be weekly pay. I've always had a bi-weekly pay cycle, but I did had one job. I did, but it was like it was right before I was gonna go back to school, and I was just bullshitting them. I told them like, yeah, I'm committed. I'm gonna do this and that. But at the back of my head, I'm like, nah, man. As soon as I get the first paycheck, I'm skedaddling out of here.
Yeah.
Which I did. I hated the job, so what I did was that after they signed the paycheck, they gave it to me. I was like, all right, good, go fuck yourself, and I walked out.
Good
And
chat
I
moment.
remembered too. Yeah, I remembered exactly what happened. I got the check. I drove home. No, I drove to the bank, deposited the check, and bought Overwatch with it. So I made a mistake there. But you know what? You know, we're not perfect.
I would have
but I paid all my
respected you a
bills.
lot more if you told me you bought League of Legends skins.
Bro, I would have respected you more if you told me that you just grabbed your money and threw it in the trash.
That's essentially what he did.
I essentially did though because this was like right after the beta, and I was having so much fun with that Overwatch beta. But then later, I don't know, man.
Daniel,
Something about
you're
that.
the beta.
Fine.
You bought Overwatch.
Oh, nice. I respect that. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I don't know. I can't exactly put my finger on why I stopped playing Overwatch. I still don't know.
I mean, when I played it, it was, I don't know why it didn't give me that TF2 feel, but I burnt out a lot easier. Maybe because when I was a kid, I preferred the whole atmosphere of TF2, the games I played with when it comes with my friends and stuff, all the very, very casual lobbies where all you do is just dance around and do the conga line, right? It's like it's not the same game. It's like how Back for Blood, it's not the same as Left 4 Dead, you know?
Yeah.
Man, Back for Blood fucking died, and I was. I couldn't get past the campaign. I couldn't stand it. It was just so fucking boring and generic, and man, I don't know. It just made me appreciate. Man, I really fucking love Left 4 Dead.
Well, the Left 4 Dead multiplayer was really, really good.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking back at it now, when I'm comparing Left 4 Dead what it was back then, like objectively speaking, and then to Back 4 Blood, there's not much of a difference really. I guess it was just like an era type of thing where the game only really truly succeeded because of the era. It was.
I don't agree with that. I think what it was is that Left 4 Dead had a very simplistic system and a mechanic in place, and it just did really well for what it was. Back 4 Blood took that and said, okay, how do we make it more complicated and needless with add-ons and passives and things like that, and also shittier AI and a much more forgettable cast, then also just a lot of less polish in the presentation. Like, it's sort of crazy to me. Like, we go from the Xbox 360 where custom animations for bullets where they hit the zombies is reactive, but yet in Back 4 Blood, everybody drops exactly the same way no matter where you shoot it.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. It's also like
It's something you don't acknowledge at the moment, but in hindsight, you look back and be like, "Man, I remember this was animated. I would have imagined this would have been animated way better."
it's actually, I'm glad you brought that up when it comes to like animations and stuff, because it's the same issue that Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl had that made it die quickly. That a lot of the characters' moves looked basically the same. Their up tilts, their down tilts, they all looked the same. But if you look at Smash Brothers, obviously a much bigger game, which with a bigger budget, all of their moves are very, very different. Like, sure, they have different frame rates or frame data, but like they look different. They look completely different unless like you're a clone character. But in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl,
I was
like,
about to
bunch
say
of their
like
what?
I was gonna say, what about Falco and you know?
Yeah, obviously, but they have
Fox.
their minute differences. But
Well,
like
yeah, that's
even
true.
then, even then, like in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, like if you could do a side-by-side comparison to like all the characters, they share basically like a handful of the same moves when it comes to like the small stuff, and it doesn't look polished.
My takeaway is that as graphics get better, it's surprisingly that the animation quality is also questionably disintegrating. I just don't think that the trade-off is worth it. I'd rather have more memorable, unique animations than prettier graphics at this point.
Yeah, it depends on the budgeting and the developing team, right? Which honestly, when it comes to like the future of anything, people want more clarity, they want more graphics, they want more color, they want more saturation of colors.
Exactly.
So like, yeah, people are limited what they can push out. Obviously, people are going to notice, like, hey, this one freaking barrel over here is not as detailed as all these other barrels. What's wrong?
Oh,
It's so stupid. It really
It's
is.
not like
Though.
the-
Like
the
it's like
nitpickers.
when you look at the memes and stuff for like how they showed off. I think what was it? Halo Infinite. Yeah,
physics.
next to what was it? Modern Warfare Remastered. Like, come on, bro. Like, seriously.
I would like to be in seriously though. I want to be in one of those matches and just see some jerk off like hiding in the corner shooting at fruit and be like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Like, "Oh man, I'm doing a Chrome Cat video." Just shut the fuck up. This is what
Straight neckbeard stuff, man.
but yeah. So yeah. Have you guys have anything interesting to say? Because I got a couple things
Dude,
I posted in the chat. Like as far as like news and stuff like that.
Let me just say one thing. Battlefield 2042 is
Oh yeah, I forgot that even existed.
that's the thing. There's a petition going around of change.org. That's the website it's called, that you can set an online petition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This petition, which honestly I don't think that does much anyways, but like still it's something I want to highlight, that this petition says that, hey, we want like give us a refund for the amount of money we put into the game, because people put in $70 to the base game and then even more so for like all the other like special editions, especially if you have EA Play. All that money you put into it doesn't really come back if you have EA Play or whatever that EA subscription thing is, which honestly, if you have that, get better financial choices. Just come on. But
I mean, if you have it included with Game Pass,
that's
I mean,
different. Yeah, that's different. But yeah, the
But
petition.
dude, I want to get my extra 10 hours of early access to the newest FIFA.
Exactly. So I think recently, last time I checked, it was at 130,000. It might be more of signatures. Whereas in a week, it managed to get 150,000 over. I think I can't remember, but all I know is like the game is like really, really bad. There was a public sponsored tournament, I think, and there was someone keeping score of the team's progression, because guess what? There's no scoreboard, because the scoreboard is considered a legacy feature, and they assume that, hey, no one likes these legacy features because they're old. Try again. So yeah, Battlefield 2042 is doing bad. Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1 have way more concurrent players in Steam alone.
Actually, so because of how bad Battlefield 2042 had been doing, they had to open up more servers. Obviously, they did that prior to the game launching, but Battlefield 4 is alive and thriving. Battlefield 5 is alive and thriving. Battlefield 1 is alive and thriving, and it's like that's a lot of customer base that they could have had on Battlefield 2042 that's playing older Battlefield games, because they want their itch, their scratch. I mean, granted, I've played 2042. I think it's a good game. I think there's a lot of potential, but there's a lot missing from it. Just like Halo Infinite. Now that I'm out of the honeymoon phase, just
There we go.
yes,
There it is.
yes.
Yeah, I knew it. I was waiting for
You're
this.
welcome,
Yeah,
guys. All right,
it's got
let's just
issues.
yes, it's
We got
got a lot of
Kenny back.
issues.
Yeah, you find
But yeah,
you stop paying for the Halo OnlyFans, and now you start seeing yourself.
I mean, the good thing about the game is like they're starting to reduce the store prices, but there's still no content, and there's no leveling system, and there's nothing really to grind for other than once you make it to Onyx rank and ranked, and then like after that, that's it. I did
Yeah.
see a funny post though. It's like it's kind of sad that bots are doing better than actual players.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
some kid had like four kills and 14 deaths, and then the bot under him had 5 kills and 5 deaths.
dude, what's funny is that speaking about like all these things with like what's happening with these games, like going back to 2042, the South African servers for 2042 is so botched, it's so messed up that there's no players playing, that there's essentially no actual way to play Battlefield 2042 except through Portal. The thing is, Portal, because of how bad it is in South Africa, the first person who is in the Portal system is the one who gets to be the host. Therefore, they can be a dictator of that actual server, because there's no other servers open. So whoever is there first gets full control of what happens in that Portal server. Therefore,
So you get host advantage.
Yeah.
not just host advantage, you get anything. You could set up spawn traps if you wanted to, and there's no negative consequences because, well, EA doesn't care. They're the servers, how they work doesn't matter. We're just doing our own thing. So yeah, it's very, very bad for 2042, and it's not the only game that's doing bad at the moment, but it's the one game that's, it's a AAA game that's doing horribly, given that all that was promised, all the hype and everything. So yeah, it's cringe.
Man,
But
I'm not even remotely surprised at this point.
honestly,
I'm just glad I
yeah.
played the beta, checked out. Like, yep, this is gonna probably fucking suck, because not even just the performance issues, just like the design of it
Yeah.
is a massive step backwards. Like, I'm just gonna say, if I ever have an itch to play Battlefield games, I'm either gonna go back to playing Battlefield 1, or ironically, going back to Star Wars Battlefront 2. I've been kind of back in the Star Wars mood lately, guys. I've been
Really?
rewatching the Clone Wars again. It's really good, actually.
It's
I'm not gonna lie,
amazing.
though. I didn't like it.
Amazing.
I didn't like it as a kid because I have like a prejudice against like 3D animation on a TV string budget. But honestly, though, the writing and the
amazing.
real not just the theme and the toning of it is always just kind of what appealed to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are just dying left, right, and center, and it's like, yeah, this is definitely not just a kid show.
No, of course
Speaking
not.
about shows, how do you guys feel about the Halo show that's coming out?
I keep forgetting that was a
he's
thing.
even a thing.
I forgot. Yeah, but I heard.
I'm still waiting for Steven Spielberg to direct it, so I mean, I'm waiting on that.
Isn't he the one that's
Wait, is it a show or a movie?
no? It's a TV show.
He said
Oh.
no, he was going to do a movie.
Oh
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah. With the
Remember the Halo movie
ODSTs.
directed by
Yeah,
Steven
with the
Spielberg?
ODSTs.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
remember?
dude.
That never happened.
No,
I
I'm
remember.
so upset about that. But yeah. So, what do you guys think about it? Like, I've been seeing the memes with the AK-47s in the Halo universe and a Chevy, a 2003 Chevy SUV.
You know what that?
Master Chief slaps his back and say, "This Chevy right here can
And
get
then
you going around the
everybody
Halo
started,
ring like real
they
good."
started pulling out, what was it? They started pulling out the memes where it was like Halo CE, but with the vehicles that were in the TV show. They're like, oh, it's actually canon. It's
Well,
like,
here's the thing though.
Halo Chevy.
I haven't seen the show, but from what you can tell me, all I know is that Chevy trucks from 2003 still function more than 2 centuries later. That's all I'm saying. So yeah,
Do you
I mean,
did you-
we're
you guys
talking
ever
about
see the,
5 centuries later, Marcos.
did you guys ever see the Call of Duty Jeeps whenever they used to have like those sweepstakes and
yeah,
stuff like that?
yeah.
I've seen one before. It was a Black Ops 3 or 2. No, I think it was Black Ops 2. Someone had the Jeep, and I couldn't fucking believe it. I was like, oh my god.
I've never seen it in person, but
I saw it in
I've seen a
person.
couple.
It was
I've
at a
seen a
parking
couple
lot.
video game vehicles in person.
you know,
I
The
still
one
wanna
I saw,
see
I think
someone
I
pull up
saw
with
the Halo 4 Jeep, the Halo Reach Jeep, something like that.
oh,
Would you guys ever put an anime wrap on your car?
100%,
Hell no.
100%.
I've been
Well, it wouldn't be.
I've
it wouldn't
always
be
been
anime.
curious.
It would be
I've probably
hentai.
seen it on the road at some point.
Oh well, I've look where I'm at. There's the Spider-Man Mustang. It's sick as shit. I love it,
That's
and
kinda
it
cool.
looks nice. And if you get behind it, this dude on the back window, he has all the Spider-Man, all the actors who's played as Spider-Man. So even the Japanese one,
Oh, that's cool.
the funny Japanese ones, the Andrew Garfield, the Tom Holland. But the thing is, how he had a picture of them. It wasn't them playing as Spider-Man. No, it was their high school graduation photo.
Oh,
And which is public, right? So you just look up Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland high school graduation photo. It's literally out there, and he has that on the back of his car, and it's written. It has their name on it, and I go,
Right.
oh damn! And he also has that for the Japanese the Japanese actor of the Spider-Man films, of the Japanese Spider-Man films. So like, this guy has a full-fledged Spider-Man car, and I'm like, dang, this car is sick as hell, man. I want it. I want a car like it. But for something else, but like, yeah, I would totally get an anime rep depending on the anime type of thing it is, because I won't do a Higo. That thing is cringe. I'm sorry.
I saw they did one of a VTuber. I thought that was pretty cool. Speaking about Spider-Man, actually, I've been watching the '90s Spider-Man show. I didn't grow up with this show, but it was on Disney Plus, and I've been kind of enjoying it. And going back to Spider-Man again, I just bought the 4K Blu-ray trilogy set of the Maguire trilogy because I remember growing up as a kid. I saw the second movie the most because I had that on DVD. I saw the first movie a handful of times as a kid,
Second movie was
but
so
I
good.
played a lot of the Spider-Man movie tie-in game. The one,
Yeah.
the one with the Scorpion, Shocker, and
Yeah.
Vulture. It was. I remember really enjoying the shit out of that game. I haven't played it in years, but I kind of want to play it again. I'm just feeling really nostalgic lately.
The Spider-Man 2 movie game, that game was legendary. Still top tier, dude.
Yo.
I love it.
For me, it's been this first Spider-Man movie game, Ultimate Spider-Man, and then we got the PS4 Spider-Man
that's
games.
my favorite one, the PS4 Spider-Man one.
Oh yeah, likewise. Yeah, I think that if it was a slow
We're talking about
progression
like
upwards,
really old like movie games. For me, they're on the original Xbox and on the PS2, the Incredible Hulk.
Oh,
wait,
where
I
you
lied.
can
Wait, there was
destroy
one-
towers and then pick up like
yeah,
buildings
that's
and just
the
chuck it.
that's
yeah, the Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. Yo, that thing was an amazing game.
Yep.
Honestly, that game was so good.
I tell a lie. I forgot. The first Spider-Man game I ever played was actually Maximum Carnage. Which, fun fact, it's the game that unironically got me into Black Sabbath. Let me explain. It's
Please.
probably really weird. So it turns out that the band, I remembered exactly, it was called Green Jelly or something, because I remembered the soundtrack because I played the shit out of this, beat 'em up a lot of times, right? There's a track where it's the boss theme that goes dun da 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 da, and I thought, man, that sounds really familiar. Fast forward years later, I listened to Mob Rules by Black Sabbath, and it's the same fucking song.
Oh,
They
okay.
literally ripped the same song, even down to the guitar solo. And then later, when AVGN told everyone, was like, "Oh yeah, that's fucking Black Sabbath," I was like, "Holy shit!" Spider-Man Maximum Carnage got me into Black Sabbath.
I've known people who got into Killswitch Engage because of Sleeping Dogs. Because
yeah.
Sleeping Dogs has a radio station, much like GTA has it. But they have Killswitch Engage, My Curse, and I know people who just got into Killswitch because of that one game. And I'm like, all right. I mean, I'm not gonna complain, but at least you get to enjoy good music. That's neither here or there.
Have you guys ever discovered a band that you guys still fan of today because through a video game before?
Yes, actually,
a lot actually. Yeah.
yeah.
Breaking Benjamin.
Well, yeah.
Bullet for
that's-
My Valentine
Yeah.
is one for me
Avenged
because Need for
Sevenfold
Speed Most Wanted. Yeah,
from
Avenged
Call
Sevenfold.
of Duty.
Well, I listened to Avenged Sevenfold prior to Call of Duty.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Once I heard the song
I've
Nightmare
added
on Moon, that's when I started really listening to them.
The Call of Duty one's way better, 100%.
That's true.
Nightmares.
I haven't got into a band's entire repertoire, but that's not entirely true because I got into the Offspring through Crazy Taxi. I like the Offspring.
Yeah, I like
a
the
lot.
Offspring.
I will say though, I got into metal because of Bullet for My Valentine, because of Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Fair enough.
Because that's essentially what they had. Some songs were just rap, some of them were just something else. But it was the first game where I constantly was hearing metal, and I was like, oh, this sounds nice. So, because most of the like other games I've listened to were like classic hip hop, old school style hip hop, but it wasn't like there was rock, but it wasn't metal. So like for Tony Hawk Underground, I played the heck out of that game, and even then, like it didn't have metal, what you would consider metal. So yeah.
There was
I mean, I like the fact that the soundtrack is literally you could tune into a way where it only just plays rock music, rap, hip hop. I like that where it just like narrows it down the genre for you, because some people interpret skateboarding as like anything. It could be gangster rap, it could be rock and roll. I mean, not rock and roll,
punk,
metal, rock, punk. Yeah, exactly. But Kenny, we're talking about like shows. Did you guys hear that they basically killed off the Boondocks reboot?
Oh,
which I'm not surprised.
Oh, they're reviving Futurama.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to that later. We'll get to that later. Let me first finish up with the Boondocks and we'll get to the Futurama. But yeah, I figured that this was something that it was pulled in the plug a long time ago, because it's been like we first heard that they were gonna do it in 2019. Yeah. The Boondocks is on HBO Max.
Then
we've only seen like a handful.
The voice actor of Gramps died, so like that threw a wrench into John
Witherspoon passed away, and I just thought like, man, after that point, you really can't do Granddad with anybody else. And I remember there's some really weird articles that came out that King Batch apparently was supposed to do the voice, and I was like, man, if King Batch did the voice for like Granddad, like not nothing against the guy, but I would fucking protest and be like, man, that's just the worst casting choice you could ever make at that point.
I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong. I just don't know if this is real or not.
He denied it. He eventually clarified it, but it was like some weird thing.
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is like, let's just say the three of us have a show, right? And we're all voice actors of that respective show. The show got popular and whatever, right? Well, the show's coming back for like season 2 or season 3, and then Daniel decides, hey, I don't want to do this role because of like some messed up stuff is happening. Like I thought we were going to do two seasons. Well, you leave, and then we bring in a third person to do your thing. That third person in the voice acting community world is going to be looked down upon because, well, you're picking up a tainted role because it's not it has some bad blood, you know. So
that's a good question. What's a voice actor choice you could think of that was like not only a downgrade, but maybe let's just rank it. Like 1's a downgrade, 2 is like okay, and 3 is actually pretty impressive, or like their own take that might be actually good.
Well, the one that I don't view it as a negative is in the Avatar series, The Last Airbender. Obviously, the voice actor of Uncle Iroh died, so his name's Mako. Was Mako, and he obviously he passed. So when it came to Korra, and when it come to like the few lines he didn't have, they used another voice actor that I felt like was good voice acting, and it wasn't like obviously the person died and they were in the pickle, but I guess that's one of the things.
Yeah, let me also narrow it down a little bit. Let's focus on main series thing, not spin-offs and stuff like that. Like a good example would be like Mark Hamill Joker versus John DiMaggio Joker, which we're getting into him later. Like that's not, I would count the same because
can I talk about video games too, or?
Oh, sure.
Okay, yeah, so Truth from Halo, when his when his voice actor changed from Halo 2 to Halo 3, it was a downgrade for sure. Nathan Fillion when he had to cover for was it Nathan Fillion? I'm trying to remember the voice actor's name now. The voice actor for the Ghost in Destiny. So I think
when it comes to games, for me,
the voice actor for Nathan Drake, so I think that's Nathan Fillion. Yeah, which is also Buck. His voice actor, like they had to get the voice actor of the Ghost to cover for Cade 6, and I mean he did a pretty good job. Don't get me wrong, like it was pretty believable that it was Nathan Fillion, but it wasn't exactly like his style. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell that he was trying to impersonate somebody else.
The only one for me for video games that I was aware of is, like, for Kingdom Hearts, Xehanort's voice actor. The dude passed, and then I think his son picked it up or someone else picked it up. I can't remember. And they did a pretty decent job. Like, obviously, his voice changed. Like, his style of talking changed. But it still sounded similar enough where I'm just like, I mean, it's pretty okay. What about you, Daniel? What do you have in mind?
I can't think of like one drastic to me, but I like Lance Bass from NSYNC was the voice of Sephiroth for Kingdom Hearts 1.
Was he? Oh, you're right. He was.
Yep. That's the fun fact that like the timer was like, oh, did you know that Sephiroth was voiced by a former NSYNC member?
Awesome, dude.
Then there's also
This is the Final Fantasy memes we need.
I guess like a good example of like maybe of a downgrade would kind of be like David Hayter's Snake to like oh, what was his name? Who replaced oh my god, who replaced the voice of Snake in Metal Gear Solid 5? Shit.
Well, I mean, with the Snakes issues, like I wouldn't care too much about it because aren't they just like clones of one another?
Kiefer Sutherland. There you go. Well, Kiefer Sutherland's problem was that he's not a bad sounding Snake. It's just that the downgrade of like charismatic David Hayter to, you know, like I think that he sounds okay, but it's almost too jarring for me. Like I understand like in facial tracking and things like that why they would pick Kiefer Sutherland, but I don't know. It's just so jarring to me, but not as like drastic. But yeah. Anyways, going back with like the Boondocks thing, yeah, we're considering the fact that the show has been like on hold since 2019. I figured that the show had to be pulled the plug at some point, and you know, with the fact that Granddad's voice actor passed away, and I remember hearing something about like they were gonna use some like deep fake technology
Ew.
to mimic his voice, and I'm like, man,
it's gonna sound too robotic.
No, it's
no,
not going to be respectable. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. It's like, here's a good example. What do you guys feel about the using holograph?
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, exactly. I find it really distasteful. Like, it's okay if it's like a show, like maybe we're doing like Cirque du Soleil or something kind of cool with that, but like
or lost
to treat
footage
it like
shit.
it's
Like I don't mind that.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's like I remember they did one for like Escape for Michael Jackson, but they use like the ghost pepper method where it's like an actor played in front of a projector to another actor.
Yeah.
Like I could kind of excuse that, but like the whole like using Tupac holograph was a little bit.
That one's tasteful for me. I will say though, okay, so like this is I can draw lines here and there. One thing I don't mind is like so when XXX Tentacion died, right? He didn't die. He was murdered.
He's no longer with us.
Yeah. When it comes to that, he did have recordings. He was recording songs with some artists, right? Like Little Uzi or other like artists that were like that knew him. When then like months later they released the songs, I don't mind that too much if they were already doing something from the get-go. But sure, they didn't finish it completely, so they kind of like deep fake it a little bit. But that doesn't bother me when it comes to deep fakes itself. What bothers me is if you were going to do a song with them, nothing was recorded, then you do a complete deep fake, and then that's when things become a little bit like, yikes, dude,
Yeah,
that's not good. But yeah,
because you're not even using the original. It's like when John Lennon passed away, he was writing the song Free as a Bird, and it's just so fascinating to hear like the only recording they got is like the shitty little tape of him playing on the piano, and then later when they did the anthology project in the 90s, they had to bring the whole band together, and that's like classified as the last Beatles song made.
Yeah.
Even though John is no longer with us, he still technically sang in the song.
You know, out of the three of us, I'm pretty sure like you're the bigger Beatles fan, but like I like the Beatles, right? Like their music, everything they did, and then I found out they were simps, and I'm like, all right.
Well, they're a boy band, man.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
they were a boy band. Dang, you got me good with that one.
Why you say they're simps, Marcos?
Well, let's not even talk about Yoko, dude. Let's talk about like any other woman who was on set with them. Some of these, especially Lennon and was it Ringo? No, it wasn't Ringo. It was someone else. Like
Linda. You mean from Paul?
To Paul, was it? Two of them specifically. When there was a chick on set, like things like went sit mode, right? They let certain things happen that you wouldn't expect from a professional. Not just any professional. These guys were the biggest name in music period at the time, and like obviously they weren't in their prime, but people still knew who the heck the Beatles were. Like they definitely had their simp moments, but then obviously the biggest one was Lennon with Yoko, and it's just
well
sad.
You know what, I'm glad you brought that up because recently I've been watching, I finally got around to watching that Get Back documentary on Disney Plus, which is a very fascinating documentary.
What is it?
I don't recommend it unless you're a Beatles fan because it is like multiple hours in 3 parts.
Oh, okay.
So the premise of it is that, if you guys don't know, during the Beatles' last like 3 years, which was the last three albums, which was White Album, Abbey Road, and then Let It Be,
Yeah.
right? So what happened was that Let It Be was actually the first album they were working on. It was called the Get Back Sessions. Originally, what it was is that they were going to do a live performance, because they did a live performance for Hey Jude, which, mind you, at that
Right.
time they haven't done like a live performance in like years, because as you know, they got hella burnt out. They don't want to do live performances anymore. They want to be an in-studio band, which I could respect.
Such a good song. Man. Hey Jude.
Yeah, it
Really
is.
like
I still
Yeah.
listen to it.
Basically what it was is that originally they got contracted, like, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a live show. We're gonna give you the studio, because Ringo's doing like this movie called The Magical Christian or some shit like
Right.
that, and we're gonna let you guys get this stage, and we need you guys to write like 14 songs for an album and then perform it live. As you can imagine, within a month, like, it's pretty stressful on the band, where it's like, you know, they got to figure out like, okay, what songs can we use? Do we use some old tracks? Do we do this and that? And they're like, the days are going by,
Yeah.
right?
You completed this documentary, right? You watched it all?
Not yet. I'm still like in the second part of it. But it's so fascinating, because the original documentary was Let It Be, and it was like this very miserable, depressing, very like sad, and it painted this picture that like, oh man, the band hates each other. Oh my god,
That's
they
the
bet they
one I
want to
heard
like
about
kill each
most.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that Peter Jackson went out of his way to say, no, look, we have like hours and hours of footage, because there was cameras everywhere and mics everywhere in this set and during this
Right.
time, that like there's so much more to the story, where you get like more of a perspective. Not only do you see the moments where they're struggling and they're like having, like, they put into context of that moment where George and Paul, like the most infamous clip I could think of the old documentary was like, you know, Paul telling George like, no, do it like this, and George's like, well, I'm doing it like you want me to do it. If you want me to, I'll play it like this, or don't play at all. And like, and you could understand from a band's perspective. I don't know if you guys ever been in a band before. It's very difficult to picture something in your head, tell the other band member to play it exactly how you want to do it, and then the other person doesn't quite understand.
You know what's also
Yeah.
interesting, and I'm glad you brought it out, that people think like, look, with that documentary, it looked like they were at each other's throats. A lot of people don't understand, like, there's this mentality, especially in basketball, where like it's rivals on the court, good best friends outside of it, right? Like when you're inside a specific like mindset, a specific, like when it comes to like even professionalism, when it comes to like a job or something, you become essentially a different person. Not saying that you're being a hypocrite, because you know you're not the same as you are in and out. No, it's a
Yep.
different mentality you got to bring forward to be successful. A good reason is like what do you call it, for like business partners who do like even podcasts, right? When it comes to like in the podcast, they would argue, like bring back the points that like hey, this is, you're doing this wrong, you're talking like mad shit, but literally outside, when it's no longer like they're no longer live and they're no longer like actually, you know, doing business, they're great friends. And you see this throughout a lot of, not just podcasts, but even with radio. A lot of people are like that with radio. Like they're just like good friends outside of it. When it comes inside, like they try to match each other's energies professionally, and they try to keep it real. One thing that and you go to see the opposite of like, hey, they're they hate each other outside their job, but you know, when they're in their job and when they're doing whatever they got to do to make things flow, like they look like best friends. Like look at Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage, right? Outside of the WWE, they hated each other, dude. But they had to get that bread to secure that bag. So yeah, I can see why some of these documentaries, like even when it comes to like casual people who've never been in the band, like you could see like in bands people like really butt heads, but outside of the band, they're like great friends.
Yeah, and it's just, the thing is, just because like they may have a disagreement or a diss track or something like that, doesn't mean that like they hate each other. Like Ozzy Osbourne could hire a midget to be on stage just to be a dick to Ronnie James Dio because he got replaced for Black Sabbath, and he literally did that. By the way, I'm not fucking with you. He literally hired a midget to pretend to be Dio just to fuck with him. But he still felt bad when he passed away because they were friends, you know? And, like, beef aside. So, yeah, this documentary is, like, very interesting. You get, like, it's a very cool thing to see, like, the band, like, writing their songs that you already know what they sound like, but they're still figuring out the words and the lyrics, and you're like, oh, they almost got it. They almost got the final take, you know? It's very, very interesting, but I don't recommend it, again, unless you are if you find watching the Beatles writing music fascinating, I don't recommend it. But if you are, this is like a gold mine for you. It's very, very interesting.
Right.
And the fact you brought up with Yoko Ono, I think it really puts things in drastic perspective. Like, yes, John brought Yoko Ono to the studio. Was it awkward? Yeah, but George also brought two monks to the stage.
Yeah. Look, all I'm saying is, like, I appreciate what the Beatles did for music. It's just, that's the Beatles. But individually, as people, it's kind of cringe. You know, it's good.
I mean, like, look, my thing is that, like, the funny thing is you bring that up is that Paul pretty much predicted the future, where he was like talking about how, like, so what happened. So to give the brief rundown, George gets mad at the band because of some bullshit. He says, "Man, fuck this. I'll see you around the clubs," which is like code for I'm leaving the group, right? Yeah. So he leaves. The band's like, "Oh shit, George is gone. What do we do?" So they're like, "All right, I'll tell you what. The weekend's coming around. Let's go talk to George. Let's make a meeting. Let's talk about it. Let's get through this together. We'll get back into the swing of things." So eventually, you see the next day roll around, and there's a title card that rolls up that says the band went and met George Harrison at his house at blah 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 blah. The meeting did not go well, and that's like really ominous. It's just like, oh shit. How bad did it go? And it says, like, the next day rolls around, you see Ringo come in at every time because he's on the clock, and it's just by himself, and he's just sitting around with the camera crew, and everyone's just like, so where's everyone? He's like, oh, we don't know. Mind you, it's just 1969. No one has fucking cell phones. You can't like call up your buddy or text him like, hey, yo, Paulie, where you at? You know. So it's this awkward moment where I was just like, so what are we going to do? Is the band splitting up? Is it this, and that? And eventually Paul walks in with his girl, Linda. And he's just like, he basically summarizes like, you know, like I tried talking to John, but you know, with Yoko always being in the area, in the picture, it's really confusing because, you know, when we toured, when we were younger, you know, we would wake up the same day, sleep at the same time, write music at the exact time and everything. There was that camaraderie and brotherhood, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But now you got that +1 next to you, and it's just really awkward.
For those in the audience,
Yoko is
no. Go finish. Go ahead. I just wanted to.
No. I was just saying, it's like maybe Yoko may not be opening her mouth, but the fact that she's in the picture in the first place is weird because now John has to be like, okay, Paul, I like that idea. Looks at Yoko and says, what do you think? And it's like, dude, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Man?
So the thing was like, for those who don't know, right? And I'm actually quite shocked that we're going into this whole Beatles branch, but like,
all right, well, we'll stop with that.
No, but all I'm saying is like, look, you have the Beatles, right? These guys know how to make their music. They know how to talk amongst themselves, the producers, like their manager. Everyone knows what to do because hey, they have experience, they have everything. John brings Yoko, and then forget about Yoko, if any one of us, any three of us were there, and we gave the Beatles music advice, they'll just look at us like, who the hell is this guy? Like, kick him out of here.
Probably. More than likely.
No, 100%.
Well, you know, actually...
But then Yoko comes through. I'll just finish with this, and you can jump in. Like, Yoko comes through, gives advice, and then John Lennon's like, you know what? I like that. And it was not even good advice whatsoever. And he just rolled with it. Because the dude was pussy whipped, and it is what it is, but yeah.
I think my thing is that, like, with Paul, he does it respectfully. He brings Linda sits offside. Yeah. Like, hey, you chill in the corner right there with the producers. You could take pictures of me. You know, we're cool. Everything's fine. Yoko is literally attached to John by the hip. And it's just like, damn, like, the monk, at least he's praying in the fucking corner, hasn't opened his goddamn mouth. But Yoko, you're just sitting there, and it's just really weird to me. I mean, you're cute and all, but it's just weird to me.
Look, all I'm saying is you got to get that Sugma mindset, that Sugma grind set, and just disregard females, acquire currency.
But let's just be honest, though. Ringo's wife was pretty cute, though. Let's just saying, though, she was.
I don't remember how she looks like. Honestly, I don't.
No.
Well, it's okay. But yeah. So, anyways, great documentary. Highly recommended.
With some stipulations if you're like a good Beatles fan.
Yeah, if you are a Beatles fan. Again, I only recommend it if you are like, hey, are you interested in watching 6 hours of 4 dudes like writing music?
I have met people who like are into like really into like the Beatles like super hard because they grew up like listening to their music when they were kids, right? So like even now they still think like it's one of the best bands ever, and I'm like, yeah, I get it, but like, are they really? Like
I mean, it's subjective.
Yeah,
I mean, like they're still my favorite band. Like to this day, like even though my music taste has drastically changed, I can still go back to their music any day.
Well, I think everybody.
Like, I'm not the massive.
Everybody has one of those. Like mine is Red Hot Chili Peppers. So like,
Yeah, that's a
They're good
safe bet.
shit.
They are.
I just really don't like the mentality of like, oh, you listen to that music, you're not smart, and I'm like,
Oh yeah, I was one of those dickheads. I stopped doing that, and I'm glad I did because I would go back in time and kick myself in the balls if I did that.
honestly cringe because like people
like
say,
I said,
hey,
like Papa Frank, you said it straight.
right. And all I'm saying is like, hey, you're listening to rap, or hey, you're listening to salsa. No, you should listen to orchestra. That means you're smart. And I'm like, can you just how about considering Robloxing yourself? Because that's literally the worst road to
Robloxing
take.
himself.
Because even music theorists would not even say that. Like, period. Like every single piece of music has its own art. Now, if you're just ripping it,
It's like it's like when Ben Shapiro did that whole thing
Oh,
explaining
yeah.
like why rap wasn't music.
that was
As you could clearly understand. I was just like,
that was-
shut
that
up,
was-
Benny,
that was-
shut
that
up.
was
Like,
cringe. And
holy
a
shit,
lot of
Benny,
a lot of
stay in your fucking lane.
a lot of music theorists who actually like went to school for this, like they broke down a lot of his arguments. Like, I get what you're trying to say, but it doesn't hold objectively. Like the objective truth of it is like music can be whatever the heck you want it to be. There is no set like rules for it that really truly define it. Like sure, for culturally speaking, sure, but like if you want to say like, hey, like the skill it takes to play the violin and compose something, sure, it's not the same level. It's a higher level of, you know, doing rap, but even then there is still some skill involved. Sure, playing in a metal band takes some skill, but like you can't just say it's not music just because you have a subjective feel to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get that, but like it was
To me,
cringe.
the way I look at it, it's when people try to sound so smart that they circle back to sounding fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because like even what is it? And this is the funny thing that at least all of us can relate to because we already heard it once. It's like, you listen to metal. I don't like listening to metal because it's all that like death and
Screaming.
like death and stuff and death and violence. And I'm like, but you're the same person who listens to rap, and rap has a good amount of that. And I'm all for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I listen to all types of music now. Like, I don't have I have a suggestive taste on.
We have
I have my
preferences.
preferences, but I could sit down and I can listen to like alternative music. I can listen to rap. I can listen to R&B. I can listen to pop, whatever the case is. But like, when people say that, oh, I don't like this song or I don't like this music because it just sounds like noise to me, it's like, what the hell?
Okay, well, that's a better defense than I don't listen to this music because it has like all this death stuff in it,
Yeah.
which they can't understand the lyrics because they didn't listen to it. But then you see them listening to like 21 Savage, who talks about killing people and like running up on people and blasting them, which is part like I'm not saying he
can
does
we just
do it.
like can we go back to what was that rapper that you can't even understand what he would say?
Mumble rap?
No, it wasn't
like
mumble
mumble
rap. It was just
I like mumble rap. I love it so
they made memes
I mean, like,
on
what
it.
do you define it?
They made memes on it. It was really high pitched voice. I can't remember the guy's name.
Oh, you mean Lil Cardi B? No, not Cardi B.
I know who you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the song.
Playboy Cardi. There we go.
Playboy Cardi
Yeah, he
does
actually
that.
sounds like that. By the way, he really does. I'm telling you, dude, he's a Castlevania villain. I'm telling you.
I grew up with him. He sounds like that. Exactly like that.
But I'm just saying, like, people listen to that and they're like, yeah, I understand the lyrics clearly, but then they go and they listen to like heavy metal and they're like, well, I can't understand what this guy's saying.
Well, that's in their defense. It's a different ear. You need to have an ear for it, and
I
that
guess.
usually comes with exposure as well. So like, when it comes to like a good amount of like all right, when it comes to rap, obviously some people talk in certain ways with certain accents, with certain
Yeah.
like people say like if you have an accent from Queens, you're talking black. So like only black people can have a Queens accent. Recently, there was this actor who was given some people were getting mad at her because she's I think Chinese and I can't remember the like her heritage, but she's
Yeah,
Asian,
right.
And
But she's from Queens.
she's Eastern Asian, and she has this. Everyone's saying, "Oh, she has that black accent," and I'm like, "But she's from Queens. She grew up in Queens. She talks like someone who is from Queens, right?"
Yeah.
So like if you're from South Florida, you're gonna be using the word bro a lot because that's what Floridians say. If you go to California, you're gonna have a Californian way of speaking. If you go to Toronto, you're gonna speak the similar to like with enough time, obviously.
Or if you go to Wisconsin, you got to go get your baggie. I mean,
Well, Toronto's literally around the corner, so
yeah,
like, they're
this
literally
is
all
true.
the same.
Yeah, that's true.
So what I'm saying is like people like when it comes to like certain rap, like you need to understand like certain the accent itself, the way of speaking, the words and everything. So like people, sure, I could say like, hey, they could understand that rap, but they don't understand metal. That's exposure. Honestly, when I was a kid and I was getting into the metal scene, like I didn't understand anything. Even when they were just, I'm not talking about like screamo type stuff. I'm talking about like they were just yelling into the mic. It took me a while to get to adapt to it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
like a good example is like I never liked Def Clock when I was growing up. I hated it, but then later as an adult, I've grown to like it.
and the show Metalocalypse. Oh my
gosh.
lord!
I didn't even like Metalocalypse.
What?
That show
was so good.
It was funny because there's so many shows that like as an adult I appreciated way more. Like I was showing my cousin like Harvey Birdman, and I wouldn't imagine I would have liked it now as a kid. But I love it now as more as an adult because I'm a cynical fuck. Anything that makes fun of old Hanna-Barbera cartoons tickles my funny bone.
You know, remember Super Prison?
Yes.
Oh my god! I just opened up a can of worms right there, didn't I?
Dude, that show was like an LSD trip mixed with like being drunk, because that show was all sorts of messed up. And
exactly.
But that's surprising, Danny, that you didn't like it. And maybe I don't know.
What, Super Jail? I love Super Jail. Metalocalypse, Metalocalypse. It took me a while to like it. I mean, the moment I knew I was gonna like it was when Bozo the Clown showed up, and you know the fucking bass solo that Murderface did. That was pretty. I will
say though, the pacing of Metalocalypse at times is like a bit slow, but that's like a lot of the whole adults. Like at the time, Adult Swim shows were like that. Mm-hmm. The pacings weren't like the fastest, and it was just super chill and whatever. Like even
kind of like Squidbillies. Yes,
Squidbillies, yeah. Exactly. So
or Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Like I didn't like that show.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force is freaking awesome.
I loved it, but yeah, it's pacing you gotta get used to. It's not something that everyone can just jump into. It. Like some people, I know people who don't like Dragon Ball Z, the original Dragon Ball Z, because of the pacing, and they prefer Dragon Ball Z Kai because the pacing actually.
I don't think. Yeah, I was about to say I don't think I can go back to Dragon Ball Z pacing anymore. Now I'm too stubborn or lazy to. I have to go to Kai pacing at this point.
I was watching Dragon Ball Z with some friends for like 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Because every Saturday I would go over to his house, we would eat wings and then just watch Dragon Ball Z and play Smash. And we weren't watching Kai because it wasn't on Funimation, from Funimation app. So we were watching Dragon Ball Z, and the Dragon Ball Z, like the original, like dubbing, like I was fine with it. I didn't care about the pacing, the fillers. Like it doesn't bother me.
Right.
But like I can see why people prefer the Kai version because it's a lot, it's cleaner, the audio's better, the no fillers. But like I could see why some people don't pick up certain animes or certain series because it's way too long. Like look at One Piece. One Piece, people say, oh, it's way too dang long, and the pacing's way too damn like long because they don't want to catch up to the manga. Like it's subjective, and I get it. So like I just I take it with a grain of salt because we're all different in our own little weird way. But I still find it cringe that people like religiously worship Rick and Morty. Like you can't go to a smoke shop and buy a regular. Well, you can't use the word bong in the smoke shop or else they'll kick you out. You got to use, hey gang, get that. I get why they do it in Florida at least.
Oh yeah,
because it makes sense because of the implications of what it's used for. But
I prefer using the term a very skinny flower pot.
Right. So, but most of these bongs are Rick and Morty. I just want a basic clear
one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want all that decoration, but most of them have the Rick and Morty one because that's
the
like
whole meme LSD.
Dude, I can't bring
this
to. I can't bring this to the smoke session. It'd be cringe.
They'll make fun of me, man.
I'm trying to smoke to get away from the problems, not bring more.
So yeah, it's one of those things. Like I like the show, but like the followings like make it cringe.
Right.
But, like you could, if you can't separate the following with the show or the game, then that's dumb. Like people say, like, oh, I like Undertale, I would play it, but
I just can't get into it because the fan base is too cringe. I'm like, well, then don't.
That's cringe as hell, dude. That's literally cringe. Really cringe. Like Undertale, a single player game, no less. Come on, man.
Yeah, you're not even interacting with anybody else unless you absolutely wanted to. You were looking for it.
That's what I'm saying.
So
like
speaking
even Final
about
Fantasy 14, you can play it single player. You don't have to interact with the player base, which can be a bit cringe at times. But like even then, like,
well, I mean, you technically still need to because you need to run dungeons with them.
Right.
Just like Destiny, you can play pretty much by yourself unless you absolutely need to do a 6-man
raids.
Yeah, you're doing raids or 6-man activities.
Same thing with Warframe, but there's some missions you can't do.
Yeah,
sorties you can't do. Yeah.
Yep. So bringing up the pacing again, you know, you guys remember all the Seth MacFarlane shows, so like American Dad, Simpsons,
Yeah.
Show,
Family Guy,
Family Guy.
Futurama. You guys ever watch like when you watch the first couple seasons, it's like that slow paced, dry humor that like
I don't mind it.
I mean,
South Park.
I actually like it. For one thing,
at
though,
first I thought it was like
seasons,
for like American Dad was too dry in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I vividly remember watching American Dad like the first season and being like, wow, this is like Family Guy when it first started. It's just really bland.
Yeah, but people prefer the old school Family Guy because it was like a
Well, it's
lot more
more
relatable.
Well, yeah. But I'm talking about like the first couple seasons, not like the new stuff compared to the old stuff. I'm just talking about the first couple seasons, the pacing, the way the jokes were laid out, the way that they were said. Like, just there's little nuances that gave off the impression of like, yeah, it's funny.
Wait,
it's trying to be funny, but it's not quite there yet because
Allow me to
they're
jump
trying to
in real
feel
quick.
out the actors.
Allow
What's
me to
up?
jump in real quick, but what was the studio that hosted, or the company that hosted Family Guy and American Dad? Was it Fox?
Fox,
Was it
yeah.
Fox? All right, Fox. Listen, the firest thing Fox ever put out when it came to like all these cartoon shows was the Stelios Canto song from American Dad, because that song, you gotta listen to it. That song goes hard. It was Stelios Cantos and American Dad. It was the dad. What was his name again? It wasn't Steve. It was
Stan.
Stan, right?
Yeah.
It was a childhood bully. He was Greek. He was whatever, right? And then he comes back. He comes back because Stan comes into school being a bully himself
Yeah.
to show Steve a lesson, right? And then they called
Oh,
Stelios
yeah.
Cantos.
I
Dude,
remember
that
that.
song. Flames.
Yep, I remember that episode.
When he pulls out the freaking. Once he's done beating him up, he gets his radio, stops playing the song. It was great. It was great. I like it. That song is a masterpiece. But yeah, that's the only good music he comes out with. But Daniel, you were talking about Futurama, or at least someone brought up Futurama.
I brought
You
up
wanted to talk about it
Futurama.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Daniel wanted to hit it up later. What was your thoughts on it?
Well, Kenny wanted to bring it up, but I was just gonna say that we were talking earlier about John DiMaggio. Apparently, John DiMaggio might not be coming back as the voice
Well,
of Bender.
all right. So he
he
just
had-
he did a tweet. What was it for Bendergate?
Yeah,
Not
Just-
too long
was it-
ago. Yeah, 2 days ago.
Well, like the show has been laid to
he said
rest
that
4 times.
he's still
already.
working on the terms. Like from what I can understand,
Yeah.
I guess what Hulu's doing is that they're trying their best to like make the show on a cheaper budget, and basically, the thing is with voice actors, from what I'm aware of, is that even though you are solidified as the voice of a character, that doesn't guarantee that you'll always be called back immediately.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what happened with the Evangelion cast or ADV. They thought, okay, well, they relicensed the show, they'll call us back. They never bothered to do that. And from what I can understand, John is saying that it's in talks, but the fact that it's not set in stone yet. Listen, whenever I see reboot or revival of old show with most of the cast, I get worried.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god.
So he set out this tweet on February 9th, so we're talking 3 days ago now. Says, thanks for the concern and the props, everyone. I really appreciate it. Don't worry, I'll keep you posted. Until then, cheese it. And then it's hashtag Bendergate.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm hoping.
So he's just fighting, saying that he wants the role, but they probably either need to pay him or I don't know.
Yeah, he's probably asking for more money. Which, I mean, it's only 20 episodes. It's not like...
Yeah, but the show's been laid to rest more than once, dude. 4 times this
Yeah,
show.
this is not the first time it'd been revived.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Remember when it got revived for Comedy Central?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I forgot one of these revivals. They literally made like they broke the fourth wall. The cast broke the fourth wall, saying, "Hey, like we're back alive." So I mean, it is what it is. So, or was it for the promotion for it? I can't remember.
I think that's for
all I know is that
because I don't remember it. I've watched Futurama like 3 times.
yeah, it might have been the promotion that was like, "Hey, we're back," actually, and then yeah, they were being very what's the word? Ironic about the whole thing and very very comical.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
hey,
I'm
yeah,
excited
we're
about it coming back though. Like honestly, because Futurama is like probably my second favorite Seth MacFarlane show. Next to obviously,
Seth MacFarlane show?
Yeah. Well, it has the same art style.
No.
Yeah, but
What?
I don't think so. It's closer to The Simpsons than anything.
No.
Yes.
It's not a Seth MacFarlane art style. It's I don't know what you're talking about, but like if you had to compare it to anything, the only thing I can compare it to closest to is Simpsons. But even then, there's a lot of differences. But like, it's not Seth MacFarlane show. It's something. It's completely else. Seth MacFarlane has American Dad, Family Guy, and one more, I think. Right? Cleveland Brown, whatever.
He sang, and that's about it. He voiced Fry's dog Seymour in Game of Thrones. Yeah, he was a voice actor. He's not the creator.
Yeah, definitely not creator, and definitely not the same art style. I will.
It's just saying, as I gone older, I think it's the creator's Matt Groening. By the way.
Yeah,
Matt Groening. Okay.
Yeah. I will say this though, is as I get older, I feel like Futurama has aged way better than Family Guy.
That too. Yeah, I will say
Futurama.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Family Guy has a lot of the like we discussed this in a
Current event humor.
Yeah, we've discussed this previously in another podcast, but like there is like, hey, there's things that you won't understand. Actually, no, never mind. I'm pretty sure we didn't discuss this in the podcast, but there are things that at the time comedy is and I'll end with this, but comedy shows you the what is hip, what is culturally happening during the times that joke was made, right? So jokes made 10 years ago won't really resonate too well compared to now. So a good example is the show Wild 'N Out, right? It still exists, even though it's been around since the early 2000s. If you watch from season 1 till now, you won't get a lot of humor and jokes from then because, well, you needed to be there. You needed to understand the references. And that's what usually... Sure, there's some comedies that transcend that sometimes, but, like, when it comes to a lot of the cultural jokes, it's not the same. So, like, yeah, if you watch Family Guy, the original Family Guy, and even South Park, like you try to watch the beginnings of it, you won't get it too much, but you still enjoy it. But then, obviously, as time goes on, you know, you'll start to get the jokes more and more because the jokes get more modern. But Futurama, obviously, it's a future show, so I guess you needed to make jokes about it that I guess can work at any time. But yeah, at any point,
it takes place in the future, but you have the benefit that you could also rewrite or recontext that, oh yeah, this happened at this time, but the show isn't as current event dependent.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the good part. Well, not as hard because it does use celebrities and presidents, you know, because they have their heads in the jar. So, like...
Yeah, but that's the point, though. Like, it's a head in the jar. They don't need to use the, like, hey, Brittany, remember when you did this? Like, they don't need to do that, you
or
know?
they have Nixon, but Nixon becomes his own character. Like, it's
Yeah.
not, like...
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you know more about the Nixon administration, like, it's a lot funnier, but it's not, like,
of course,
you need to know... Exactly, because like the show builds its own character where he becomes some sort of like warlord at one point. So yeah, I see what you mean. But Futurama, like, I don't know. As long as they don't screw over the whole Bender thing, the Bender's voice actor, as long as everything goes out great, then I'll welcome it with open arms. But until that's settled, I really don't want it to come out because that'll just be bad blood in the industry.
I'm just surprised that Hulu hasn't like made a statement about it yet, which is what I'm just concerned about.
It's gonna come out on Hulu?
Yeah, it's Hulu that's doing.
They're the ones that did the revival.
Ew.
I mean, I have Hulu. I don't give a shit.
I don't have any of these subscriptions except Amazon Prime Video because, well,
there's a pretty good TV show on there. Man in the High Castle. If you're into alternate history.
On Hulu?
No, on Amazon Prime.
Prime Video.
Or Amazon Video, whatever.
That's actually a good well, sorry, what were you gonna say?
But yeah, like it's only 4 seasons. Every episode is about an hour long, and I mean the show's pretty interesting up until like the 3rd season. Then it kind of gets a little ridiculous, but I watched it till the end. I'm rewatching it now.
Okay.
You were saying, Danny?
Okay, well, I was just gonna say, like, as far as like streaming content, what do you guys prioritize more? Do you care about more original content made per the streaming website or service, or do you prefer like legacy content?
Original content, because I can watch legacy stuff anywhere.
Okay, fair enough. Well, the reason why I asked is because I have HBO Max, which is probably the most expensive streaming service I have at the
that
moment.
for free.
What, with a phone plan or something?
Yeah, with a phone plan.
Oh.
I got Netflix with my phone plan.
Sorry.
I had it too, but no one in my household watched Netflix, so we decided to not do it. So we took it out.
What? But they charge you extra?
No,
for it?
no,
They
no.
gave it for
We got a
free.
different plan for it, a better plan.
Oh,
A better
okay.
plan that didn't involve
Include
Netflix.
Netflix. Gotcha. I have Netflix. I don't know if we count YouTube Premium. HBO Max, Disney Plus, Prime Video.
I just wish there was a
Hulu.
Game Pass for freaking subscriptions, man.
Well, think about this.
Well, there kind of is. I mean, you could get Disney Plus with Hulu and fucking National Geographic.
Yeah, but who the hell is gonna watch
no, and ESPN.
National Geographic?
Listen, I know plenty of people who will because they go use it to fall asleep.
It's like,
I'm just,
or like people
like-
want to watch like the History Channel. The
Well-
only thing you watch in the History Channel is
And
Hitler
aliens,
truckers.
aliens. What are you talking about,
aliens, yeah.
truckers? Aliens, bro.
No, the Truckers Islands is pretty cool though. Actually, not gonna lie.
No,
Ice road trucking.
I mean, I have quite a few different subscriptions, but I also borrow subscriptions from other people because it's like,
That's true.
Oh yeah, the only one I'm paying for is the HBO
like I'm
Max.
paying for
But
Hulu
Disney-
and I'm partially paying for YouTube Premium.
There was this article that was like, I guess, defending and also whining for Netflix, saying, "Oh my gosh, Netflix losing like 1.3 or like 130 billion dollars in revenue because people share their accounts with people who aren't like
Who
in their
cares?
family plans." And I'm like, cry more.
I mean,
It's dumb. It's dumb.
yeah,
But like, I really the
Just
only
like
subscription I have
Amazon.
on Prime.
Amazon's
just-
going up in price too because
They
they just raised
the price,
their yearly price because everybody's sharing their Amazon video and you can share it to.
I'm not sure it's for Amazon Video. I think people use it
Oh
for the
yeah,
free shipping.
that too.
Yeah.
But still,
I get constantly bothered by my family to use my Amazon account,
yeah.
but I can't imagine not living with it. So I don't see myself canceling
I
for not
honestly
giving my money to Bezos.
have not ordered anything where I'm like, I need this the next day. I have yet to have that feeling. Honestly, like, I don't know about you guys, but I've never had that. Like,
I am a shut-in. I even hate, like, for example, like I need to buy some new clothes for my new job, and like my mom wanted to go with me. They're like, oh, let's go shopping, and me, I just like freeze up at the thought of like, oh, the last thing I want to do is go shopping with people, because to me, I'm a beeline shopper. When I want
Yep.
something, I fucking go grab it and get the fuck out.
Exactly.
The
That's how I am.
the less time I have to be around people in a store is the best for me. I
100%.
have specific social anxiety, and that shit does not do it for me, man. I can't. And like, I'm just like looking at Amazon, like, yeah, but I could just buy this now and try it on, and then if it works, it works, and not to do it. I just don't want to do it, man. I hate it.
I'll
hate
literally
that
like
shit.
I'll go to the section that I need to go to for my clothes. I'll grab the shirt or the pair of pants or shorts that I'm looking for. I'll try them on. If they fit, okay, cool. And then I'll just go to the freaking register and pay and leave. If they don't fit, I go back to the exact same spot, switch out the shirt for a bigger one, and then leave.
yeah, I will say though
because
that.
you already know that size didn't fit.
Yeah, I will say though, I do prefer.
He didn't say
shopping.
goes to the changing room. He drops his pants and he's just like, all right, let me just put these on real
I
quick.
will say when it
Right
comes
in
to
the aisle.
shopping, there's certain things I prefer doing in person. Definitely clothes is one of them.
Yes.
Food, definitely another one. But like when it
Mhm.
comes to like computer stuff, yeah, all
Yeah,
online.
yeah,
I don't
all
care.
online. Well, I kind of wish
Yeah,
that there was
clothes is
a
a little
micro
bit more
center here
confusing.
in Florida.
Especially like certain things like pants, for example. Like pants is so complicated because, or shoes, for example. Like, and any day I could be a 10, a 10 and a half, or 11, depending on whatever shoe I'm
Right.
wearing.
That's true. That's actually like so damn annoying. But that's also the thing too, that you can't just like what do you call it? You can't just nitpick too much with clothing online, because like, hey, if you're buying jeans, like you got to make sure what kind of jeans you're buying, because like, hey, Levi's sell a specific kind of like what was
Oh,
it,
they
slim
have different
fit.
cuts. Yeah, exactly.
You get different cuts, different feels. Like, hey, this is a new generation of Levi's that they fits do this, and you're like, you just gotta go there and feel
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Exactly. You got to
The worst
put it
part
on.
too. Yeah, so the worst part too is like with me, since I got like nice juicy thighs, and I will end with this, that like especially since I'm working out, I can't just fit it in jeans. These jeans gotta fit my thighs good and my butt good, cause it'll fit the calves area just fine, but like listen, from the waist to the knee, it's gotta fit it right. If not, I'm gonna have a bad time.
Well,
But
imagine if computer parts were like clothes and you had to go try them on.
Well, they were.
Had to bring the tower
Don't
with
you
me and
remember?
plug it into the mother.
Don't you remember that you needed to know a good amount of computers and knowing like, hey, this case won't fit this motherboard.
Oh yeah,
along
I mean
with
that's
this
still
GPU.
That's still the same thing. I mean,
Yeah, but you have a lot.
Oh, now we have PC part picker that already does that job
That's what
for
I'm
you.
saying.
well,
Yeah, it
you know, I really wish that we had a micro center here in Florida
What?
because
You wish that what?
I wish that we had a micro center here in Florida.
Well, yeah,
Man, we used to have a Tiger Direct here, man, and that shit was the biggest waste
Well,
of
because
time
it was
ever.
all Chinese crap. I mean, no offense to
Not
the
just
Chinese,
that, but it was also like you go to the store and they tell you, here's the price here, and this is the price online. You could get it cheaper online. Then why the fuck should I be in the store? Jack off.
Well, yeah, there's that
because
too.
Tiger Direct was pushing the online thing. They were.
But why would you market the price at the store that you could buy it online?
I will repeat.
Then the store goes out of
the
business.
point. The company wanted all online because having a physical location was costs that they didn't want to waste money on.
Well, they probably should have addressed that before they opened up the fucking store.
Look, the infrastructure.
That's just really stupid to me. It's
the
just like,
infrastructure
I'm going to
existed.
open up a store that's going to be
I think
more
we
of a time
popped the
sink.
nerve.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, look. The infrastructure of Tiger Direct already existed prior to an online thing existing, an online website existing. When they ran the numbers, they're like, "Hey, we prefer to have an online store only." That's why they were slowly pushing for online only, and that's why they put the store for like the prices for the store saying, "Hey, it's cheaper online." I get it. I was upset too because it's dumb, but from a business standpoint, I can also understand it. So like, listen. It's dumb. I agree with you, but money talks different ways, right? They don't have to be ethical. They don't have to be smart and everything else. They don't care about your experience at the end of the day. As long as they get that bag, that's all they care about. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I did build my first computer at a Tiger Direct store.
I didn't at all.
Neither did I.
I didn't even do research. I just kind of bought all the parts on Newegg and then hoped that they all worked.
Same.
It wasn't even like that. It was I told my dad I wanted to build a computer. He was supposed to give me his half of the money.
Yeah.
He said, "Nah, let's just go to the store." I told him it was a bad idea. He didn't give a fuck. We built this computer without even a graphics card, and it was just like a massive waste of time and money. I had to upgrade everything.
Nice.
The only thing I've kept from that old computer is just fucking tower and the power supply.
Yeah, I'd get rid of the power supply if I was you. It's about
I
damn
know.
time. But yeah, like I do wish there was a micro center here because you have more variety, you have more options, and you have more availability of, you know, like parts that are normally online
Okay.
that are out of stock are normally in the micro center store. So graphics cards normally will be in stock. If not, they'll be in stock the first day and actual people will be able to buy these. Versus, you know, random bot number 3,271 bought 700 of these freaking graphics cards in one shot.
But you're saying it's like people don't camp out these places to get the graphics cards
Well, they
too.
do, but at least it's a real person that's getting one graphics card and not 1,700 of them.
Even then,
Man, fuck that. I'm not getting the graphics card, so I'm mad.
even then, the lines are long as heck.
Yeah, but if you look at the
Yeah.
the Micro Center in California, the one that's in Anaheim, they just redid it. They have a bunch of graphics cards in stock. No lines. You can
yeah,
just
'cause
walk
even-
into the store, grab what you need, walk out.
I really liked, like, I know GameStop isn't really like the best of companies right now that we're talking about. The only time a GameStop was ever relevant was during the whole the whole stock market thing. But when it came to like PS5s and Xbox Series consoles, they said only pro members can buy it, not just
Yeah.
any GameStop 1% at a time. Pro members. So they had a stipulation. Well, sure, if you are a pro member, you right, you need to like if you're already an existing pro member, cool, you can do that, you can get in line for that. But if you weren't a pro member, you needed to get a pro membership. And at the end of the day, like GameStop funneled the whole craze for these new consoles in a very nice way, where like they were securing their own bag as well as securing that, make sure like their actual clients were getting a console, and I like that. And it was also one per person, so like that was at least a good move on their end, because obviously these online stores don't have recapture checks because they don't care. They don't care if a scalper buys 1,000 other units. They're gonna get their money anyways. So yeah.
Just like I said, I'm just tired of these bots picking up all these freaking computer parts.
Set up a macro. Do your own thing, dude.
See, but
Come
that's
on, man.
that's the issue.
fire
But that's
with
the
fire.
issue. You have to fight fire with fire instead of it just being simple, where you just hop online. Oh, I need to buy this graphics card today. No, you need to.
Because no one wants to work. Everyone's reactive. No one wants to work proactively. So you might as well play the game, because that's the only way you can get ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I had to fight
don't be
for
a
my
scalper.
graphics card, so
Right. I get it. Just don't be a scalper. Buy 2 units and that's it. Like, I guess it's easier said than done. But all I'm saying is, like, yeah, sure, you have to fight fire with fire. But like, if you want this, you need to fight for it, I guess. So yeah.
we just need this shortage to finish.
Well, that's the issue, though. Like, even you said it, like in previous episodes about like semiconductors being an issue when it comes to like the semiconductor shortage, the whole the demic issue that we had in 2020. Like, it caused a shortage, but the thing is, Taiwan produces over 60% of the world's semiconductor
I know
production.
this. Yep.
So like, the thing is, like, everything is on Taiwan, and you want Taiwan to be in the best position ever because, well, they're the one that gives out the best semiconductors for cheap. Because if you get semiconductors from America, they're gonna be expensive as heck, dude.
Yeah,
really expensive. Only because they have the mining facilities over there that allow the processing and the companies as well to allow the processing units of these semiconductors to go through. But yeah, either way, people are still gonna scalp because the crypto market is still hot. The mining, people still prefer mining. So yeah, it is what it is. But that's all I gotta say for it.
Yeah, I think we should leave it at that, folks. We got through a lot today. Let's just go ahead and wrap for today. Thank you, everyone, for watching or listening to the DKM podcast. If you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe and join our Discord server. All the links are below. We would love to have you on. As you guys know, you could listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. We're still working on getting it on Apple Podcasts eventually at some point. And we greatly appreciate you guys listening and watching us for so long. And hopefully you guys stay with us in the future. Guys, take care. And till next time. See ya.